while I was still recovering from childbirth. Literally still wearing those mesh adult diapers. My mother-in-law took a picture of the condoms my husband and I used and blasted it all over TikTok. She added the caption, "Young people these days have zero self-control." She's barely out of the delivery room and already spreading her legs to seduce a man. I didn't hesitate. I went straight to the comments and dropped a photo of her cheating with my father-in-law's younger brother. I captioned it, "Guess the older generation is who really knows how to get freaky." I was lying in bed still wearing those atrocious adult diapers they give you for postpartum recovery, scrolling through TikTok to numb my brain. I just finally gotten the baby to sleep. My finger hovered over the inbox. Usually it's just friends sending me puppy videos or recipes. Not today. A random user had DM'd me a link with a message, "Jenny, is this you?" I squinted at the profile picture. It was a guy from my old marketing job. Confused, I clicked the link. The second the video loaded, I felt the blood rush to my face, so fast, I thought I might pass out. It was a video of me filmed this morning. My mother-in-law, Brenda, had barged in to wake me up to cook breakfast for her precious son, Liam. In the video, I was dead asleep, my head resting on Liam's arm. But the camera didn't stay on my face. It panned down, zooming in shakily, but intentionally on a used condom wrapper on the nightstand. Then came the caption in big bold font. "Kids these days present as innocent, but she's still bleeding from birth and already begging for cock. No self-control." My heart hammered against my ribs. Last night, Liam had practically begged, whined, and guilt tripped me into it. I finally gave in just to shut him up. And now Brenda had posted it online to slut-shame me. I realized right then, feeling sorry for a man is the quickest way to ruin your life. And shaking with rage, I forwarded the video to Liam. "Tell your mother to delete this right now. TikTok's algorithm is terrifying. If my ex-colleague found it, who'll saw it? My parents, my neighbors, the church group." A minute later, Liam's reply popped up.
"Come on, babe.
"Is she wrong? You were pretty wild last night." He followed it up with an eggplant emoji. I wanted to vomit. Just kidding. Don't be a Karen. You can't even tell it's us. It took me like 5 minutes to recognize the room. I screenshotted the DM from my coworker and sent it back. "Read this." My coworker recognized me instantly. "Delete it," Liam replied. "Your coworker must have a thing for you if he recognizes you, even after you gained 50 pounds of baby weight." He added a shrugging emoji. I stared at the screen. My chest hurt, physically hurt. I took a deep breath, looked at my sleeping daughter, and forced myself to stop shaking. Being hysterical wouldn't help. Needed to be cold. I marched into Brenda's room without knocking. "Brenda, delete that video you posted this morning.
Now."
She played dumb, looking up from her phone with wide, innocent eyes. "What video? You follow me, Jenny?" "I didn't post anything today." Her screen was still lit up. I lunged forward, snatched the phone from her greasy hands, and opened her profile. There it was pinned to the top. I went to hit delete, but Brenda, agile for an old bat, rammed her head into my stomach. Pain exploded in my C-section scar. I gasped, dropping the phone. It clattered across the hardwood floor. Ignoring the tearing pain in my gut, I scrambled for the device. The screen was shattered, spider web cracks everywhere. The touch screen was unresponsive. Brenda stood over me, grinning like a hyena. "Oops, looks like you broke it. Now my son has to buy me a new iPhone." She crossed her arms. That was my most viral video yet. I wouldn't have deleted it anyway. Not for you. I stood up, trembling, and picked up the broken phone. I smashed it onto the floor again, putting my heel through it, until it was nothing but glass and metal scraps. "If that video isn't gone by the time Liam gets home, I'm suing you for invasion of privacy and defamation," I hissed. "And remember, Brenda, I control the bank accounts. You aren't getting a dime for a new phone unless I say so." Back in my room, I checked the video on my own phone. It had exploded 1,000 likes, 2,000 comments. The comment section was a cesspool. Half the people were trashing lazy daughters-in-law, and the other half were creepy men, making disgusting comments about how I looked asleep. If she puts out like that, I take her for a ride. Nice rack on the sleeper. I was about to screenshot them to send to Liam when the baby started crying. When Liam finally dragged his ass home from work, the first thing he did was yell at me for breaking his mom's phone. "She deserved it," I snapped. "Did you even read the comments? It's just boomer humor, Jenny. Why are you so sensitive?" Liam rolled his eyes, loosening his tie. "Nobody is actually insulting you." I shoved my phone in his face and started reading the comments out loud, forcing him to listen. User Big Daddy 69 says, "The wife has huge tits.
Lucky son.
Is that funny, Liam?" User Slayer says, "I bet she squeals like a pig. Is that respectful?" Before he could answer, Brenda burst into the room. "You send my son's money and then abuse his mother," he shrieked. "People saying you have big tits is a compliment. You have a dirty mind. That's why you take it wrong." I hit play on a voice memo I'd recorded from my consultation with a lawyer regarding revenge porn and defamation laws. A stern legal voice filled the room listing jail time and fines. Liam's face went pale. He hurriedly dragged his mother out of the room. 20 minutes later, Liam walked back in, holding a sad gas station bouquet of jasmine flowers. "Babe, don't be mad," he said, putting on his best puppy dog face. "Mom deleted the video. She feels terrible. Look, she even told me to buy you these flowers. They're your favorite." I checked Brenda's page. The video was gone. "I know I messed up," Liam said, hugging me from behind. "It won't happen again." I looked at him and felt nothing, just exhaustion. When I didn't immediately fawn over him, he dropped the act. He tossed the flowers on the dresser. "Fine, stay mad. I'm sleeping in the study." I couldn't sleep. My gut told me this wasn't over. I got out of bed and crept toward the study. I could hear murmuring. I remembered the high-quality stethoscope I bought during my pregnancy. When I was paranoid about the baby's heartbeat, I grabbed it and pressed the diaphragm against the drywall. The sound came through crystal clear. That wife of yours is such a prude. Brenda's voice whined. So, what if I showed a little skin? It got views. Mom. You gotta be smarter, Liam whispered. Next time, send the video to me. First, I'll block Jenny's account, so she can't see it. Then we can post whatever we want. My blood ran cold. Just forgot. Brenda giggled. Don't worry. I posted it on my burner account too. Good job, Ma. Are the followers going up? Almost at 10K. Brenda sounded giddy. If your dad hadn't banned me from TikTok years ago, I'd be an influencer by now. I'd be rich. You sacrificed so much for us. Liam crooned. It sucks you have to deal with Jenny. If she wasn't an only child, with rich parents and a hefty inheritance coming, I would have dumped her ass years ago. I pulled the stethoscope away, my hands trembling. He wasn't just defending her. He was directing her. My husband was pimping out his own mother's softcore harassment videos for clout and waiting for my parents to die to cash in. I needed a divorce, but first I needed to burn them to the ground. I lowered the stethoscope, my heart beating so hard against my ribs, I thought it would wake the baby in the next room. Inheritance. That was the magic word. Liam didn't love me. He didn't even like me. I was just a barrier between him and a bank account. And Brenda? She was just a leech looking for a host. I didn't storm in. I didn't scream. That was the old Jenny. The new Jenny, forged in the fires of postpartum hormones and betrayal, was silent. I crept back to the guest room, slid under the covers, and stared at the ceiling until the sun came up. By the time dawn broke, the tears had dried. I had a plan. But to execute it, I had to become an actress worthy of an Oscar. The next morning, I walked into the kitchen. Liam was nursing a coffee, scrolling on his phone, probably checking Brenda's burner account. Brenda was at the stove, frying bacon, the grease popping onto the counter I had just cleaned yesterday. Good morning, I said, my voice soft. Liam jumped. He looked at me warily. You okay? You seem calm. I forced a weak smile. I did a lot of thinking last night, about what you said, about me being sensitive. I poured myself water, my hands steady. Maybe I'm just overwhelmed. The hormones, the lack of sleep. I overreacted about the phone, Brenda. I'm sorry. Brenda turned around, spatula in hand, a smug grin spreading across her face. It was repulsive. Well, it takes a big person to admit when they're wrong, Jenny. I forgive you, even though that phone was expensive. I'll replace it, I said. And Liam, you're right. We need to think about our future. Maybe I've been too tight with the finances. Liam's eyes lit up. It was predatory. He stood up and hugged me, the smell of his expensive cologne making me nauseous. That's my girl. I knew you'd come around. We're a team, right? A team, I echoed, burying my face in his chest so he wouldn't see the disgust in my eyes. For the next week, I played the role of the submissive, doting wife. I cooked, I cleaned, and I let Brenda make snide comments about my baby pouch without batting an eye. Every time she insulted me, I added a mental dollar sign to the lawsuit I was planning. While they were distracted by their sudden victory, I went to work. My parents were old-fashioned, but they weren't stupid. The inheritance Liam was salivating over wasn't liquid cash sitting in a checking account yet. It was tied up in family trusts and real estate. I called my father's lawyer, Mr. Henderson, a man who had been suing people since before Liam was born. Jenny, Henderson's gravelly voice came over the line. To what do I owe the pleasure? I need to restructure the trust, allow for a spousal exclusion clause, and I need to do it yesterday, I said, pacing the floor of the nursery while Liam was at work and Brenda was napping. And I need a forensic accountant. Trouble in paradise? Paradise is burning, Mr. Henderson. I need you to help me pour gasoline on it. By Friday, the paperwork was drafted. I told Liam I was going to a mommy and me yoga class. Instead, I went to the firm and signed everything. The trust was now locked tight. If we divorced, Liam wouldn't get a penny. If I died, the money went into a custodial account for my daughter, accessible only when she turned 25, with my parents as trustees. Liam was effectively disinherited. But that wasn't enough. I needed to destroy them socially before I destroyed them legally. I needed access to Brenda's cloud. Since I had smashed her phone, Liam had bought her a new one. Using my credit card, of course. I let it slide. Brenda, I said one afternoon, walking into the living room where she was filming a TikTok dance that no woman her age should be attempting. I was thinking, if you really want to be an influencer, you need better editing. My old coworker, Mark, he's a wizard with this stuff. He could set up a cloud sync for you, make sure you never lose your viral content again. Brenda stopped mid-twerk. Really? You do that? I want to support your hobbies. I lied through my teeth. She handed over the phone without a second thought. Make sure he makes me look thinner. I took the phone to the shop, which was actually a coffee shop where I met Mark. You look like hell, Jen, Mark said, plugging Brenda's phone into his laptop. Thanks, Mark. Just crack it. Already in, he muttered, his fingers flying across the keyboard. I'm pulling everything. Deleted folders, hidden albums, the works. God, this woman has zero security hygiene. Her password was Liam123. He paused, clicking on a folder labeled Old Memories. Whoa. What? I leaned in. Mark turned the screen toward me. Is that your father-in-law's brother? My breath hitched. There, in high definition, was a photo of Brenda. She was younger, maybe 10 years ago. She was sitting on a lap that definitely wasn't my late father-in-law's. It was Uncle Jerry. Jerry, the pious deacon of their church. Jerry, who was married to Aunt Sarah, the sweetest woman alive. And they weren't just sitting. They were entangled. Keep digging, I whispered, a cold smile forming on my lips. Find me everything. We found more than just the affair. We found the burner TikTok account. We found texts between Brenda and Liam. Liam, she's buying the act, ma. Just be nice for another month until the trust fund distribution hits. Brenda, I hate being nice to her. She's so dull. Can I post the video of her breastfeeding? That fetish crowd pays well. Liam, wait until the check clears. Then we can humiliate her all we want and file for divorce. I felt the blood drain from my face. They weren't just mean. They were monsters. They were planning to monetize my motherhood for fetish content. Mark, I said, my voice trembling with a rage, so pure it felt like ice. Download it all. Then put a keylogger on her phone. Done, Mark said, his face grim. Burn them, Jenny. The following Tuesday was the catalyst. I was exhausted. The baby had colic and had been screaming for 4 hours straight. I was walking the halls, bouncing her, tears streaming down my face. Liam was in the study working, playing video games, and Brenda was on the couch. Can you just shut that kid up? Brenda yelled from the living room. I'm trying to record a voiceover. I snapped. She's a baby, Brenda. She's in pain. She's spoiled, just like her mother, Brenda scoffed, holding her phone up. The red recording light was on. She was filming me. Again. Put the phone away, I warned. Or what? You'll break this one too. Brenda sneered. Go ahead. Liam will just buy me the Pro Max next time. She posted it immediately. I got the notification on my watch. Caption, Lazy DIL can't even soothe her own child. Maybe if she lost some weight and stopped nagging, the baby would be happier. Hashtag bad mom, hashtag grandma to the rescue. I watched the view count tick up. 501,000. Liam walked out of the study. Babe, keep it down. I'm on a call. Your mother just posted me crying with the baby, I said, my voice dead. Liam glanced at Brenda, then at me. He shrugged. It's just content, Jenny. It pays the bills. Well, it will pay the bills. Don't be such a prude. Don't be such a prude. That was it. The phrase triggered the memory of their conversation in the study. The gloves were off. You think that's content? I asked, shifting the baby to my other hip. You think humiliating family is funny? It is when they deserve it, Brenda laughed. Okay, I said. You're right. Content is king. I walked into the bedroom, put the baby in her crib. She had finally fallen asleep, and locked the door. I sat on the edge of the bed and opened TikTok. I found Brenda's video. It was already flooded with hate comments directed at me. Look at those bags under her eyes. Gross. Husband should leave her. I didn't hesitate. I went straight to the comments. I selected the photo Mark had pulled. The one of Brenda and Uncle Jerry, half naked in a Motel 6, looking very, very drunk and very, very intimate. I hit post. Caption. Guess the older generation is who really knows how to get freaky. Does Aunt Sarah know you were praying with Uncle Jerry at the Motel 6? Hashtag grandma gone wild, hashtag family values, hashtag cheater. Then, I logged into the main Wi-Fi router admin panel for my phone and throttled the bandwidth for the living room TV and their devices, just enough so they couldn't upload or delete quickly but could still receive notifications. I waited. It took exactly 4 minutes. I heard a screech from the living room that sounded like a dying cat. What is this? What is this? Brenda was screaming. I unlocked the bedroom door and strolled out. Brenda was staring at her phone, her face a mask of purple rage. Liam was looking over her shoulder, his jaw unhinged. What did you do? Liam whispered, looking at me with genuine fear for the first time. I just engaged with the content, Liam, I said, leaning against the doorframe. You said it was just boomer humor, right? Delete it. Brenda shrieked. Delete it right now. The church ladies follow me. Sarah follows me. Oh, I think Sarah has already seen it, I said, checking my phone. Yep. She just commented. Brenda, tell me this is Photoshop. Oops. You bitch. Brenda lunged at me. This time, I didn't stand there. I sidestepped. Brenda, expecting a stationary target, tripped over the rug and face-planted onto the hardwood. Don't touch me, I said, my voice dropping an octave. Or, I will press charges for assault. And unlike you, I have cameras. I pointed to the hidden nanny cam on the bookshelf, one I had installed 3 days ago. Liam rushed to help his mother up. Jenny, are you insane? You're ruining our reputation. No, Liam, I said. I'm ruining yours. Did you really think I didn't hear you? The stethoscope? The inheritance? Pimping out your mother for clicks? Liam froze. I was joking. It was just talk. I have the recording, I bluffed. And I have a text from Mark. About the fetish content. About waiting for my parents to die. Liam's face went from pale to gray. Now, I said, pulling a suitcase out from the hallway closet, packed and ready. I'm leaving. I'm taking my daughter. And if you try to stop me, I release the folder labeled Liam's chats to your HR department. Do you think your marketing firm wants a guy who plans to exploit lactating women for money? Liam stepped back, hands raised. Okay, Jenny. Just calm down. We can talk about this. We're done talking. You will hear from Mr. Henderson. I grabbed the car seat, walked out the front door, and didn't look back. I stayed at my parents' house. The security was tight, and the lawyers were tighter. The fallout was nuclear. The photo of Brenda went viral, but not in the way she wanted. It turns out, Uncle Jerry was running for the local city council on a family values platform. The scandal made the local news. Aunt Sarah divorced Jerry and sued Brenda for alienation of affection, which was still a law in our state. Brenda was excommunicated from her church group, the social circle that was her entire life. As for Liam, he tried to fight. He tried to claim I was unstable. But during the discovery phase of the divorce, my lawyer introduced Exhibit C, the text messages regarding the fetish content, and the plan to defraud me of my inheritance. The judge, a stern woman who clearly had zero patience for men like Liam, looked at the evidence over her spectacles. Mr. Johnson, she said, in my 20 years on the bench, I have rarely seen a case of premeditated spousal financial abuse this transparent. You are not only denied alimony, but I am also granting Mrs. Johnson full legal custody. You will have supervised visitation only. Liam lost his job a week later. Apparently, Big Daddy 69 had posted some comments on company time, and once the internet sleuths connected him to the viral cheating grandma drama, his company cut ties to avoid the PR nightmare. 6 months later, I was sitting in a park, watching my daughter try to crawl. The sun was shining, and for the first time in a year, I felt light. My phone buzzed. A notification from TikTok. I had kept my account, rebranded it. I now posted about financial literacy for women and how to spot narcissists. I had 500K followers. I clicked the notification. It was a tag in a video. It was Brenda. She looked terrible. She was filming in what looked like a cramped, dingy apartment. No ring light.
No filters.
Please, she was sobbing into the camera. If anyone can spare a few dollars. My son can't find work. We're being evicted. That which ruined our lives. She has all the money. The comments were brutal. User 1. Aren't you the one who slept with her brother-in-law? User 2. Get a job, grandma. User 3. Wait, didn't you mock her for bleeding postpartum? Karma is a bitch. I watched the video loop once.
Twice.
I thought about commenting. I thought about dropping one last truth bomb. Maybe the screenshot of her calling her followers idiot sheep that I still had in the vault. But then, my daughter laughed. She had pulled herself up on the grass and was grinning at a butterfly. I looked at the screen, at the miserable woman and her cowardly son, trapped in a hell of their own making. They were screaming into the void, desperate for attention, desperate for relevance. I didn't need to ruin them. They were already ruined. I tapped the screen. Block user. Then I put the phone in my pocket, picked up my daughter, and walked away into the warm afternoon sun. The silence had never sounded so sweet.